beautiful people. Welcome to Diva Talk for today, Sunday, the 1st of November. It is a new month. Happy new month to everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. In case you join me for the first time, I'm Niashan. I am a woman confidence and empowerment coach, and author and woman content creator. With me this evening, I have Jasnet Richards, and today we're going to be talking everything from teenage pregnancy to faith. Now, Jasnet, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank
Uh,
you.
I must say that I have been watching you, as you know, I've been stalking you for a very long time on social media, and there is a reason for that. That's because I resonate with you, and when I see you, I see a younger version of myself, and we'll get into that as the show go on. I see a younger version of myself, and I always look at what you're doing and I admire you and admire the mother that you are. So that is the first thing that I want to say to you. That's why I've been stalking you for all these years
I-
across social media. So, before we jump into anything, if you're joining me for the first time, either on Facebook or on YouTube, please do let us know you are here and let us know where you are joining us from. Also, please do share this out because we have some awesomeness to give to you today. So, lady, tell us all about yourself.
Okay, hey guys. So my name's Jasneth Richards. I am a mother of 5 children. My eldest is 19 and my second is 16. My son is 12. He's going to be 13 next week. I have another daughter. She is 11 and my other son is 8. He's going to be 9 next week as well. So they're like 5 days apart. What else can I tell you about myself? I've just recently graduated from university studying sociology and social policy. I am currently just working part time and doing my own stuff, really working on Infinite Woman, which is what I have founded. It's a brand that really helps to edify, educate, and equip women. So I help women to share their stories and just do live videos on transforming women's lives. Um, Also, what else about me? Um, yeah, I am an author of the 10 Factor Mum, and that's something I wrote within a time where I actually wrote it on the foundation year of my degree. So that was an interesting journey, but it stemmed from many people asking me many questions. Always knew there was a book in me, and it just came from the simple question of how do you do it with 5 children? And I just put together a book that would help people to understand when I said by the grace of God what I
Mm-hmm.
meant. So I gave 10 factors on how I juggle family life and so on, and just share a bit of my story in there as well. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Okay, right. You say you have a 19-year-old, and girl, you don't look old enough to have a 19-year-old. I know you had your daughter. Listen,
Thank
I
you.
know you had your daughter quite young, and that's why I always say that I admire you and I watch you a lot because we have had the same sort of journey in terms of having our daughters very young. Just tell
Right.
us a little bit of your childhood and how did you feel
Mm.
when you were that age and pregnant? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, well, basically for me, I didn't grow up with my parents. I grew up in care from the age of 3 years old. And yeah, I was there until I was about 18 with like the leaving care team, as they would call it. However, prior to me being pregnant at 15 years old and having my child at 15 years old, I had previously become pregnant at 13 and 14. I had a miscarriage, unfortunately, and I also had an abortion. So, you know, I knew that motherhood was very much a part of my teenage years for a very long time. But for me personally, just being really very honest, I didn't really get that talk about sex. I don't think that a lot
Mm.
of people spoke about it to me. I mean, you do sex education at school, but Caribbean parents and the people that I grew up with never spoke to me about sex. Um, and I think that that's something that's missing within the community about speaking to our children about sex. And especially as Christians, if we can't speak to our children about sex, like abstaining from sex, but also safe sex. And I think that's a lot of things that people don't talk to their children about. Anyway, I digress. But I had my daughter at 15 years old. And because I had already been pregnant 2 times before, I definitely knew that this was something that I was going to go through with. Um, and I just didn't want to go through that pressure of having to have another abortion or to lose a child. So it was like my decision was made very, very quickly. Um, how did it feel? As I said, because I had already gone through pregnancies
Mm.
before, for me, it was just like my mind was just made up that this is something I'm going to have to do. Of course, the journey was very daunting at times. Um, but I just kind of just got on with it. I mean, I had points where I felt as though I was doing things as though I wasn't pregnant. I was so young still. And obviously, people looking at you, I think that was a bit of a kind of shame, and
Yeah.
especially from like people of my age group. I mean, I can be honest, I had quite a good network of people around me, but
Mm-hmm.
there were people that were really talking about me, and it's quite a shock. I mean, oftentimes, especially for us, we see those things on American TV, but to have it right in your face in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
especially somebody that's in your inner circle, it can be quite a culture shock or very shocking for people. So, yeah, I just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I could resonate with that because I got pregnant as well when I think I was the tail end of 14, and I had my daughter at 15. And
Mm,
as you say, people looking at you and feeling as though you've let people down is
mm,
something that we go through. And you say you digress, but that's the next thing I wanted to touch upon.
yeah.
Do you feel that you did not get sex education? Because I know I didn't get sex education. I'm Caribbean parents.
Mm,
They're not talking to you about.
no.
They just say to you, don't have sex, don't have sex. They don't talk to us safe sex. They don't talk to you about anything like that. And that was my next question to you. Do you think that if you were educated better by your parents and those around you, not those who were in
Yeah.
guardianship of you, that you would have made different sexual decisions?
Absolutely, definitely, yeah. I think I would have either been protecting myself, or
Mm-hmm.
I would have been like on the pill or an injection or something. I would have definitely done things differently. I'm very grateful that my children are here. However, I do feel like a lot of the times parents have to take a bit of responsibilities for the lack of conversation with
Mm-hmm.
their children about sex, and so on. And even if it's a difficult conversation, like it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
So, using people around you maybe to have those conversations rather than not. And obviously, children are very rebellious. So it's just like if they say to you, I'm not going to do this, sorry, I'm not going to do this, then it's going to be like they want to do it because you're telling them not to do it. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
tell them why, go into detail, share your story. I think that's another thing that people don't do.
Yeah.
Um, so, for example, like, if you don't know your parents' age, sometimes you don't know when they've had
Had
you,
you?
and
Yeah.
then you realize, wait, hold on. So when you find out, so you was a teen, because they don't want to talk about it. They want to act as though you
Mm-hmm.
know their stuff don't smell. But when it comes to you, it's like because you're not being transparent about your story,
Yeah.
it's really just the cycle sometimes just repeating itself. So
Yeah, I agree, because I've got a lot of people. I have got a very open relationship with my 26-year-old and my 19-year-old.
Mm.
Very open. I talk to her about everything under the sun. And to some people, they think, oh, that is too much and it's too rough. But my children have gone to 26 and 19 and touched all everything. They
Mm.
don't have any babies yet. Now you have teenagers now that
Mm.
you are trying to grow up so that they don't, I wouldn't say a mistake, but like they don't go down the same path that you
Mhm.
went down, because it's not an easy road. If we have women watching who have teenagers or who are coming, have children coming into teenage years, and they don't know how to approach the subject of
Mhm.
sex and pregnancy, what advice would you give to them?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to say that it is not necessary that even though you speak to your children, that they will not do
Yeah.
whatever you said that they won't do. And I am a living witness of that. However, like, I think it's it's being okay knowing that you've done the job, or
Mm-hmm.
you've done the best that you can, and just allowing God to do the rest. Because oftentimes we can sit and speak to our children and say, don't do this and don't do that, and they're just going to do the same thing that you've told them not to do. So, as open and transparent as you are with your children, they're still going to make their own decisions. And I always say to people that, you know, we can't sit and control our children. We have to allow them to live out their own testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it wasn't for what I had been through, I wouldn't be the woman I am today, which is, writing books, sharing my story with people, being open, humble, open, and transparent about the things that I've gone through. And I wouldn't be able to touch the people that I do if I didn't have this story.
Mm-hmm.
So, it kind of goes in both ways, but I definitely feel as though there are things that people can do that can help to prevent certain things.
Mm.
But however, as I said, I'm a living witness. It's not necessarily always the case.
Yeah.
Um, so I think you said something else. I'm not quite sure what else you had asked.
No, that's it. Just how would you?
Yeah,
And I agree with you. I think as a mother, we just have to think. As long as I go to bed at night, knowing I have done my best, I have
yeah,
said what I needed to say. Because my mother has a saying: "You make children, but you don't make their mind." So
right.
they would do whatever they want to do anyway. So
Exactly.
so I agree with you totally there. You talked about having people around you, and I know I got through having my daughter, but you're a stronger woman than I. You had five. You had five. I had too many. But
Yeah,
how did you get through? Because I know even with the one, and I have a huge age gap between my children, 7 years, and I still found it really hard having them going back to school, working,
yeah.
doing everything. How the hell did you
I hear you.
go, how did you bloom and blossom into this amazing mother, and your kids are amazing kids? How did you do it?
Honestly, like my eldest two are a great testament to my motherhood and the help that I have. Yes, I was a single mother, um, in and out of my relationship. It just wasn't the greatest. But I think what really pushed me further into, because I feel like, because I grew up with elder people, I had
Mm-hmm.
that kind of old mindset.
Yeah.
So, and at the same time, it can be a positive and a negative. But it helped me to gain that kind of control around the military kind of, not control, but I would say that military way of parenting that helped the house to just function.
Yeah.
But mostly was when I found God and just
Mm-hmm.
His grace and His mercy, and just the way that He helped me through, especially with like my mental health, like just having that time of just prayer and just releasing and so on and so forth. So I definitely say my journey with God really helped me to cope with my five children.
And that's something, because when I became pregnant, I was a church goer. So I got the snares, the stares from all the aunties, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And just speak to us a bit about your Christian journey, because I'm intrigued. Girl, I heard you preach a couple months ago, and I
Yeah.
listened to that sermon a few times, because as I said, I see me and you were on fire. It took
Mm,
glory and grace and wisdom to
mm,
preach that sermon that you preached.
mm.
How did you go from being a teenager with your children to incorporating God in your life as much as you do now?
I mean, I always heard God calling me. There was always a call on my life. And I just remember one day I just went on this journey to just find a church. And went to a couple of churches, wasn't really feeling it. And then I got introduced to a church by one of my children's fathers. And I ended up going to this church, and then just God just took me away. Like, I just went on this personal journey with him where I was just chasing after him and really just in awe about his goodness. And there was just something that just kept on pulling me back. I was always a firm believer, even before I knew about God, that everything happened for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it was embedded in me. And I just knew that God was just speaking to me through times where I didn't even know who he was. Um, and it was just that journey through Christ. Even like I got baptized, and then I still ended up fornicating, and that's when I had my. So I got baptized when I had my fourth child, when I had four children, and then ended up fornicating and having my fifth child, and it was just certain things that were still not implemented or shared, or it was like people tell the church tells you to wait until you have sex before marriage, but they don't tell you how when you've been playing house for
Mm.
like years, just living with my partner and just doing whatever, and now I've automatically got to stop, and it's really a difficult journey. This doesn't stem away from people just coming how they are, because I think it's so important, and
Yep.
just the importance of people knowing that your journey is a path that just you gradually start to rip off the old man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't just happen overnight, and you can't assume that it's just going to happen before you give your life. You have to come how you are and allow God to do the work. But oftentimes we try to do the work before we come to God, then there's no need for God then. Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like yeah, he was just calling me, really, really just calling me, and then everything just fell into place. And I think, honestly, just me having a personal relationship with God really helps. Like, I would come home and just be in the Word. Like, I just had this, you know,
Hunger.
yeah, literally, it was a hunger. A lot of people used to say this girl's very hungry, like, for God. And I would always be at Bible study. I'd be only one of the young people at Bible study. Like, I was just really chasing after him. So yeah,
So
that's me.
that's how. Right. So you have just graduated with a BSc honors in sociology and social politics. And do you know what? I felt as though I went through that journey, because I don't know if you remember, every time you put up and you say, "Oh, I have this essay to write or that essay to write," I tried to send you some words of
Yeah,
encouragement. Keep
yeah,
going, because I know what it's like. And as I said, I had two children, you had five.
yeah,
How was it? Because I know a lot of people might be sitting there and they may have gone through what we have gone through, and they're like, I can't do this. I
yeah.
can't go and do a degree. I went and did my accounting degree and my law degree. You went and did this degree.
Mm,
Just talk to us about that journey, because I said I have watched it from the time you signed into uni, your pre-uni, till you
mm.
got your degree. I have followed you on that
Oh,
journey.
I
How
appreciate.
was that journey for you?
It was the most amazing journey. I can't
Mm.
even believe that I have done it. I think the third year was the most difficult, and then the last semester of the third year we went into lockdown. So this desk that you see behind me is where I completed my degree,
Yeah.
and that was very difficult because I had the children as well. We were all on lockdown, and I had like 20,000 words to do. 10,000 words for my dissertation and three other assignments, and I had to just get it done. But the journey within itself, I think what it taught me was a lot of discipline. I was just hungry to do this degree. I
Mm.
remember when I decided to go to university, always wanted to, but I was a teaching assistant for a few years at a few different schools. And I was like, I feel so boxed in, I feel caged in. I said, Lord, it's either I go to entrepreneurship or I go to university. And I literally had a small breakdown at my workplace where I had to be off for a couple of weeks. Like, I just felt anxious. I was just depressed. It was a horrible thing. And I was like, but I knew God was taking me through a transition. And to get into university for me was a testimony in itself, because you have all these thoughts that hold you back. Like, I didn't have GCSEs, but I did a lot of courses. Like, I did a level 2, level 3 in specific things, and I done a test, and this is why I had to do the foundation degree, because I didn't have enough units for my level 3 or what have you. But it really set a precedent for my degree. And to come out with 5 children, I've done a degree, got an upper second class honor. Like, I always say this to people, I was 1.5 marks away from a first. And it was just to know that it was possible. And I remember God told me that this degree was not about me and it was bigger than me. So I knew that I wasn't doing it for myself, but I was championing for a lot of women that wanted to do it, had children, were mature and wanted to go back to university. So now I look at it and I'm like, I can't believe I did it, but I know that it was by his grace, and that the reason behind it is that it wasn't only for me. So if it was just my efforts and just me pushing forward, it would have been a bit more strenuous. But because God was saying to me, this is for more than you, I think that's why he graced me so much to just pull through. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's why I told you I see you and me. When I did my law degree, girl, I ain't doing nothing to do with law now. But like you, I think I did it to show people that even in your late 30s, you can still do a degree. You had I think with us, our life is to show people that your life is not over once you've had a child very young. Because a lot of people think that you have a child and that's it. Your life is over. You'll end up doing some dead-end job and all of that for the rest of your life. So Infinite Woman, and that is your ministry. And I've followed your ministry. What is your ministry about?
Okay, so basically it's about equipping, educating and edifying women. So it's about sharing humble and open and transparent topics, and just sharing, equipping, educating. So on a bigger scale, like as it goes on, I'd really like to help women like CV build, and do that, help them with their purpose. The edification part is to do with the word of God, and then the edification is to do with God, educate is to do with like purpose and so on and so forth, and then to equip is things like their finances, or to just give them tools and strategies for their life. So I do a lot of live videos where I just share transformational information that can help women, and really looking to more build a private community where I can start to help women coach them on a different level. But at the moment, yeah, build into conferences and so on and so forth. But that's really what we do. It's just a Infinite Woman stands for a woman of endless possibilities, which makes women know that they had the possibilities are endless for them. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you go live on Instagram every Monday night. Is it 8 o'clock?
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock you go live on Instagram. So ladies, you have to catch over there. It is an amazing show. So you're also an author of the 10 Factor
Shameless
Mom.
plug.
There's the book, the 10 Factor Mom, and it is on Amazon. I just checked it. A guide for single mothers. What is the book about? What's the structure of the book? What would ladies learn when they go and read that book?
So basically, as I said, everybody used to ask me, how do I do it with 5 children? And I always say, by the grace of God. And I felt like I needed to actually help them to understand what the grace of God was about, in terms of how he graced me through coping with children. So I share things like prayer and meditation, forgiveness, but I go through my journey, like prayer, transparency, mothering on purpose. What else do I do? Talk about embracing the change, asking you shall receive. So I just go through 10 different factors of how I parent, or how I parented my children. I share a little bit of my story in there. I'm not about male bashing, so I don't go into details like that, but I do share my journey, what happened to me and what I learned through that journey. So this is everything that enabled me to write this book, was just who I was and what I went through. So yeah, that's a little bit.
Okay. I mean, I know it takes a lot just to remain mentally stable. As you said, when you were finishing your degree, you were at home schooling 5 children and finishing your degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the mental challenges of being a young woman in today's society. Do you have a routine, like a morning routine, an evening routine, that helps you to keep sane and protect your
Yeah.
mental health?
Absolutely. So as you can see, I've got like scriptures on the wall and stuff like that. So I wake up in the morning and I'm on a prayer call at 5:30. I also do exercise as well. That helps me, and going for walks is majorly important for me. I'm not able to do it as much now, especially as I started driving, but I do tend to try and to go for a walk. I think that really helps me. Um, and listening to sermons and things of that nature. So I try to have like an hour in the morning where I pray, I listen to something inspirational, and then I just set myself up for the day. Um, and yeah, I think that's really what helps me. It's just prayer, accountability partners, and just the word of God alone is
Mhm.
just such a strength for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I love the accountability partners. I call them bra friends, those that hold
Mhm.
you up when you're drooping. Let me
Absolutely.
just reset. There's, to all of you who are joining us, I'm Niasha, and I have Jasneet. I love your name. And I was like, oh, how do I pronounce it? She's a mother of 5. And like myself, she was a teenage mom. She's the founder of Infinite Woman. She's an author. She's a content creator. And ladies, with 5 babies, she's just completed her degree, and I cannot shout enough. I think when you posted that you got it, I was literally like,
Yeah. Oh, thank
I
you.
was shouting. Anybody would think that, oh, I know you. I was
Yeah.
literally shouting because, as I said, I admire your strength that it takes. So, what next? I know you're doing some Instagram. I know you're big on Instagram and you're doing some Instagram training because social media is the way to go right now. What does your Instagram training entails?
Okay, so basically, what I do is I help people to use Instagram effectively. A lot of people are on Instagram and don't know how to use it properly, especially if they're like building a brand or a business or so on and so forth. So I just go through 8 steps on how to effectively use Instagram, and I do it on a one-to-one. So it will be for people who may want to come on Instagram, who are on Instagram but not really getting much interaction or not understanding how to use it and why.
Mhm.
um, Also the purpose behind Instagram, how you can build your brand on Instagram, and so on and so forth. So I just go through an 8 step process. So I call it a fast track crash course for effectively using Instagram. And it's really helped a lot of people. I've had somebody that has started a voice coach business, and I just helped her through how to use Instagram, the importance of using it daily, being consistent, and so on and so forth. Um, I had a group session with like 8 people on there, and just to see the differences in the way that they're using Instagram is just
Mhm.
phenomenal. So yeah, so
Oh, that's good. Well, I have to check that. I have to check that course out because I'm totally rubbish at Instagram. Right, we have gone into another lockdown. Don't
mm,
even, I mean, this lockdown situation, I have whiplash because I don't know whether to turn left or whether to turn right.
yeah,
And there's people like me and you who are at home working in this lockdown. And some of them don't have the strength because I see people like me and you have this strength inside of us that not everyone have.
mm,
What advice would you give to people about how to cope? Because I don't think we are looking at the mental health of people
not
being
at
in
all.
this lockdown. We're not
All the
looking at
children,
it.
yeah.
We are not looking at the mental health of people, the mental health of young people. As I said last week, my youngest daughter had a difficult time in the first lockdown.
Mm.
What advice would you give people going into the second lockdown that we're going into?
I think it's perspective. So it's about like not trying to figure everything out, taking it a day at a time, and
Mm.
actually asking yourself the question, okay, I've been given this opportunity. So looking at lockdown as an opportunity,
Yep.
this is an opportunity for me to do things that I've never done before. What is it that you've been wanting to do? What dreams have you had? What things have you had not had time for? So it's about like shifting the mind to a
Mm-hmm.
different level rather than I'm enclosed in, I can't do this and I can't do that. But no, let's look at how I can utilize this time. What can I do different? What things have I put on hold because I didn't have the time? Oh, I can spend more time with my family. Now, I know that there may be people that may be alone or by themselves. Start journaling, start writing. There may be a book inside of you, use this as an opportunity to maybe go on social media and start to find like-minded people like yourself. It's just perspective, I would say. Just perspective, and definitely going for your walks. That is really good for your mental
Yeah,
health.
that is
Use that hour exercise, whatever Uncle Boris is trying to say. That do whatever you can.
Yeah,
And
Uncle Boris
utilize
gave
it
us an
well.
hour.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, good. Exactly. That's why for example, I co-authored my book during the first lockdown. I did my cards during the first lockdown. So I'm all about using this as an opportunity to do something or to learn new skills, learn to cook, learn to do your hair, learn to do your nails, learn something during this time.
Absolutely.
Well, madam, thank you so much for coming on and for chatting with me, and just I want to encourage you to just keep being the woman that you are. Keep being the mother that you are. Your children are amazing children. What next for you? You've done the degree. What next?
So I did want to go into kind of like a work path, but before I went to university, as I said, it was either entrepreneurship or going to uni. And I made that abundantly clear. I was like, God, this is what I'm doing. But the entrepreneurship bug is still in me. So as I said, I'll just be doing more like workshops, building my courses. I'm due to write another book, so that's going to be amazing. And just really honing in on my entrepreneurship. Definitely look out for that. I'm doing a bit of trading now as well. So just literally having multiple streams of income, and just working on my brand, and just having more time to just be more free, and only God knows what he wants to do with me.
Only God knows.
More preaching and bits and pieces. So,
girl, you better preach. I'm telling you, I listened to that sermon. I had to listen to it again.
I appreciate it.
I made one of my daughters listen. I said, come, you listen to this. She's like your mother. So I made her listen to it again. How can we connect with you on social media? What's your social media handle?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram. That's mainly where I'm at. And it's She Is Jasnef. So that's my name. So She Is Jasnef. You can find me there. And then within there, you can see The Infinite Woman as well. You'll find my app for The Infinite Woman as well. So yeah, just find me at She Is Jasnef. Same with Twitter. And so on and so forth.
All right, ladies, please do go and connect with Jasnet over on Instagram. Jasnet, thank you so much for gracing me with your presence. I will stop stalking you now.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Stop stalking you now. Okay. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, ladies, there you had it. My interview with Jasnet Richards. And Jasnet is a mother of 5. Like me, she had her first daughter when she was 15 years old. And she has risen above all of that stigma and all of that. She's an author. She has her own business. She just completed a degree. And I just hope that our little talk this evening help someone, invite someone to watch it. It may be, I may be wrapping up now, but it will be available here on Facebook and on YouTube, so that if there's a young person you feel that needs some encouragement, that needs to know, the purpose of this show is to empower, encourage, inspire, and motivate women to live a life of abundance. So that's it for another Sunday. In case you're wondering who I am, if you're just coming in and you don't know who I am Niasha. I am a woman empowerment and confidence coach, an author, and a woman empowerment content creator. Have a fantastic Sunday evening. Remain fit, fierce, and fabulous. Go out this month and this week and live a life of abundance, on purpose, and with intentions. Bye-bye.